Hi, thanks for stopping by the channel. This is just another video. This channel I put in recommendations of things that I kind of like or warnings about staying away from stuff. But if you're looking for a place to hike and bike, I would highly recommend this trail called G2G. That's Goderich, and it runs from the town of Goderich on the shore of Lake Huron to Guelph. Um, yeah, it's an interesting trail. I really like it. As you see, it's 132 kilometers long, but there are many different places. You can go to some of the smaller villages and park your car and jump on your bike and go for a ride. If you really want to, you could go from um, Guelph to Goderich or vice versa. Goderich is right on the shore of Lake Huron. It's a nice little town. It was once voted the prettiest town in Ontario. There's places to camp and motels and hotels there, so you could make a weekend of it or something, or a holiday of it. So the reason I recommend it is it's got an active volunteer community trying to look after it, which is good. They have managed to get a lot of funding to be able to do things that is required, but they will take your money because they do have some sections that they're trying to get some building done on them or repairs done on them. So this trail resulted when the federal government decided to get out of the railway business in Ontario, at least, and they basically ripped up all the rail lines. So what was left over was the rail bed. And I was on that shortly after the train tracks were ripped out in the Goderich area, and the trail was obviously horrible. It was a mess. That's been fixed in a lot of places. 10 years after that, I was on the trail again, and unfortunately, a lot of soil from the neighboring farms along the trail had drifted over on top of the trail, and vegetation was starting to grow. So, again, the trail was pretty much neglected until this group stepped in, recognizing what they had and putting a lot of effort into getting it into a good trail. So why would you want to go on this trail? Well, one, again, they have an active volunteer community looking after it, but it is on a rail bed. And if you don't know what that is, the rail bed is the underlying structure that the uh, train tracks were put on. So they typically had a lot of good gravel there, a lot of good materials to keep them stable because they didn't want train tracks washing out. And the other good thing about the trail is because it's built on a disused rail line, what's one thing that trains can't do unless they're specifically built for it? They can't climb worth beans. So, in most cases, this trail has no more, in most cases, I found a few exceptions, but in most cases, the trail has no more than a 15% grade on it. That is the maximum grade, from my understanding, that a train could climb. So it's a very easy trail to go to, even though the countryside around Goderich, at least, is up and down small hills, etc. The trains are a steady climb, or this trail is a steady climb because it's built on an disused rail line. So it's a very easy ride for somebody if you want to walk it or hike it. But anyways, it is yeah, I've been on it in a couple of sections, again in the Goderich end, and it's very good, really good. It's not perfect because of the fact that, like I said, when the federal government tore up the rail lines, it went into disarray, but these people have spent a lot of effort in trying to get it put back together in a good state. I would recommend you donate to them, but I'll pop over here to the map. So here we have Goderich, and here we have Guelph, and this is a trail. It runs through farmland in most cases. It runs very straight. Like I said, it does not have typically um, a lot of climbs that you have to do. There's a few places that stuff's happened that they've built on top of it. I know in in a couple of places that this climb is a little steep, but it's very short. In most cases, this is a very gentle climb from Goderich into Guelph. Now you can see here, here's Goderich. There's a lot of little villages that, because it's a rail line, it ran through these villages, and you can go to any of these small towns, small villages, and you should be able to park your vehicle and jump on the trail there. So there's a lot here that you can use. I know myself, I've seen the Goderich part, I've seen the Blythe part, I've seen the Walton part. I haven't gone that much further, and it is excellent. Parking is there. You're parking in a small town. Your vehicle, in most cases, is going to be safe and what's in it. But yeah, it is a really nice trail. Now, what you're seeing here is construction pieces that are under development. So the one I know about is in just outside the village of Blythe. There used to be under the highway a trail. It's not a trail, sorry, a tunnel where the train tracks actually went underneath the road. Well, when the train tracks were taken out, the provincial government decided it didn't want to have to pay for the maintenance of that tunnel, and it basically destroyed the arch that was built out of like 2 foot concrete, 3 foot concrete to support the bridge, and they filled it in. So right now you have to actually climb a small from the trail up onto the road, go across a small 2-lane highway. It's not really that busy of a highway, but it's something you shouldn't have to do. So right now they are trying to get the money, and they're trying to build a tunnel. So they want to replace it. They're looking for $465,000. They're up to 290 or something in fundraising. So it's not, it says here that we hope to complete in summer of 2022. It's now into 2023. They're still trying to get the money together to do that. I guess COVID probably pushed it back. But that is that. Um, in the Auburn, there used to be you have to use a detour because they took the bridge out that used to cross the Maitland River. So that's where the train tracks used to come across. And again, the government took it down because they they didn't want to have to pay for it. So it's going to take a lot of money to put across a bridge. They're looking at putting not a bridge that will sustain a train anymore or cars, just something that would handle some bikes and people walking. So you have to take a bit of it's not a great detour, and go across a bridge called Ball's Bridge, which is interesting in itself, and it's one of the last remaining iron bridges in Ontario. But it does take a bit of a detour, and they have, because they're just making the trails through Farmers Field. It's not the greatest detour, but that's how you can get across the river, and then you can get back on the trail and again keep following it to the end. So they've had problems with erosion, and they've had problems with they have to, near the harbor, there's a pedestrian bridge. They're looking for money. Some of this stuff they've gotten the funding to do. They just haven't done anything on it. In Goderich, they do have an old train bridge that goes across the Maitland River at that, where it dumps into the Lake Huron. And it, of course, is a heavy duty bridge, so they looked for money to be able to repair it. There's a couple of ditches that have been um, potentially affecting the trail. They've got money to fix them, they just haven't done it. But this is a list of all the things that they want to um, repair, and I believe maybe um, the ones that are in green, they have completed. This is in the village, I believe, yes, this is Blythe. So this is what they did, and they need to put the tunnel through. The government came in and just dynamited this big, thick arch, because there used to be a train track that ran through the village north-south. This is east-west. So this was a very heavy-duty arch. They came in and blew it up, basically, or destroyed it. So Now they basically put a trail, and this is where the 15% grade doesn't apply. It is a little bit of a hill here, but this has been completed. So a lot of these items here, they're spending money grading and resurfacing the trail in certain areas where, again, it does get washed out, or can get washed out. But these are the projects that they have. So you can see that it is basically a good volunteer group. They're putting money and effort into keeping it uh, accessible, in good shape, and whatever. So, yeah, again, this is why I recommend this trail. It's a really good trail. Um, it's pleasant, nice. Going through farmland in the summer is actually quite good. So that's the project on this map. There's some connecting trails here you can see. These are mostly hiking trails, but you can come in. Some of them you will sustain a bike. You can see a lot of trails here. So there's that with it. Accommodations, again, there's lots of little places in these little towns where you can bed and breakfasts, or there's actually quite a few. There's a number of places that you can stay if you want to make it into a multi-day thing. Um, what else do we have? What else can I tell you? Again, adopt a trail. They're trying to get people to adopt a section of it. You can adopt a section of it, and the money you spend will go towards maintaining that section. Again, there's the infrastructure. There's a number of items here about bridge and etc. This is a place, a small village called Blythe, which is an interesting place in itself. But again, you can see how easily graded this is. So this is where the train tracks used to run through this village. There used to be from what I understand, if you look at this map, there used to be a train station here at one point that got moved. But it's a number of places. Here we have the beach you could go to. That's nothing to do with the trail, but it's something you can do at the end. There's a parking lot in Auburn where you can park your vehicle. And again, Auburn's a small village that it runs through. That's where the bit of a pain in the ass detour is. Walton, same here. This is just inside the village of Walton. You can park your vehicle here and jump on the trail, and that would head you into Blythe, and going this way would get you heading towards Guelph. So that's Walton. Another place. There's parking, doesn't say it's available. Moncton, small town again. Area for 30 vehicles at the arena. You can jump on the trail there. Milverton, again, small place. Parking for 20 vehicles. And that's in a designated area. You could park on the streets in these small towns. There's no problem there. People don't bug you. So again, here's again, any of these little villages you can jump on, park your vehicle, get on the trail, and off you go. So that's it. Wrapping up. Again, Guelph to Goderich. Beautiful trail. Nice, easy ride. Pleasant ride through the countryside. Organization trying to keep it going. I highly recommend this.